At this time, we'll call the May 17th, 2024 meeting of the Wilson County Planning Commission into order. Anyone wishing to give testimony before this board today, if you would, please stand and raise your right hand. I hereby affirm the testimony I give today to be the whole truth, so help me God. Say I do. Thank you. We need to approve the minutes from the April 19th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Ms. Weathers, a second by Mr. Renfro. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion will carry. We have no old business. We can move straight into new business, Tom, with a site plan for Lebanon Hispanic Seventh-day Adventist Church storage shed.
Yes, sir. This is a minor storage shed addition to a church facility with minor technical corrections. Staff can recommend approval of their site plan.
Okay. Do we have anyone here today to represent this case?
Before I go further, all the cases today will need to comply with stormwater engineering, WEMA, and fire marshal and utility district comments.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from our board? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Mr. Ash to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Weathers. All those in favor vote aye. Those opposed? Motion will carry. We have the final for the Estates of Masters Way.
Yes, sir. Again, they have complied with all of our technical corrections. I believe this is a renewal. They're set to expire in about a month, and they're seeking renewal of their original plat. And we do have a corrected copy right here. With minor technical corrections and with compliance with stormwater engineering, WEMA, fire marshal, and utility district comments, staff can recommend approval.
Do we have anyone here today to represent this case? Yes, sir.
My name is Adam Sanders, represent the civil engineering and land surveying firm that did the plat. We just seek reapproval of the previous approval.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak on this case today? Any questions from our board? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve based on staff recommendations.
We have a motion from Mr. Turner to approve based on staff recommendations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Noakes. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion will also carry.
We have the following plats for affirmation. Re-subdivision of the Daniel and Judy Norton property consisting of one lot on Polsbury Pike and references map 36, parcel 42.02. And then we have the plat for Both Mines LLC property consisting of two lots located off Canesville Road and being referenced as map 104, parcel 52.
Do we have anyone here today wishing to speak on either one of these cases? Any questions from our board? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Mr. Ash. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Mayor Hutto, I'm sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those two will carry. And Tom, we have a,
Yes, this is an amendment that y'all voted on, I think either last month or the month prior, and when we got to looking at what got submitted to you, it was missing the last page. So effectively, you've already acted on this once for approval or recommendation for approval to the County Planning Commission. The last page, if you look at the very back, on the back side, does include a few additional clauses, such as the existence of a county business license shall not ordain a claimed home occupation as a legally operating business within residential zone districts. A detached structure may be used in the operation of a home occupation so long as it does not exceed 25% of ground floor area of all structures on the property, and so long as the overall home occupation does not exceed 600 square feet in size. So basically, that's just saying where we have some home occupations that are occurring in a detached garage, if it's in that circumstance, they can definitely be no more than 600 square feet, which is equivalent to what we require for accessory dwelling units at present.
yes, sir.
And then the other clause has to do with some uses that we would generally view as home occupations. And I do think you saw the first part of that the first time, but includes things like lawn care businesses.
Where did you get the 15 acres on that, Tom? Was that a Greenbelt issue?
Well, yes, we're just trying to use a common threshold that we use now. I'll go through that whole paragraph if you want to. Lawn
No,
care
no,
business-
that's fine.
Okay. In other words, as long as they're not bringing the scrap material from lawn business, whether it's grass clippings or brush and weed trimmings or shrub trimmings back to the property to burn or something, we would consider it a home occupation as well as art and pottery studios or photography studios.
Mr. Chairman.
Question for Mr. Ayers.
Tom, I get this, but I'm gonna tell you, there are a lot of folks making their living, cutting yards and stuff, and some of them don't have 15 acres and they bring it home. I'm good with all this, except I'm kind of gonna speak up for those folks who don't know or see this coming. And they're all people, all of us in this room know, that do this. This is how they make their living, or this is their secondary job. You know, some of them are firemen, police officers, nurses. And is anything we can do with that acreage number that might make it a little more palatable? I think most of them probably got 5 acres. I'd say something like you can't have a residential house within so many feet of it, or, I don't know, I'm just asking you.
That's fine. I mean, I don't have any problem with the consideration of, I use 15 acres simply because there's already an existing threshold that's common to some of our agricultural interpretations, things like that with regard to Greenbelt. But if y'all want to say that it's on tracts less than, or tracts in, as long as it's not on a tract in a subdivision with average lot sizes less than an acre or something.
Or be several hundred feet from the nearest residence or somebody else's property line,
Yeah,
you know?
but the whole point was that they can still run a lawn care business, they just can't bring the scrap back, and they can't have more than one piece of equipment if they're on something less than 15 acres.
Well, and
Right
again,
now,
some of these
but if
guys
you-
have got 2 lawnmowers on one trailer,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get my mind around this 15 acre part of it. I understand the rest of it, but
well, y'all can motion to amend it and we'll forward that instead.
maybe I'm the only one that feels that way.
No, not at all, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question too.
Yes, sir?
It says here specifically refuse and scrap. What if they bring 9 pallets of sod or that kind of thing and stack it on there? Is that even accounted for in this?
No, not really, but I mean, you can add that if you'd like.
Because it's not just refuse, that those that would abuse it, and I'm just kind of on the other side flipping it. I agree with what you said, Sheriff Adam.
You could easily add sod piles,
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna be used within,
sod piles,
week, that's one thing.
soil.
but if you keep it there for 6 months in the neighborhood, that kind of thing. So sod would be
A
one.
lot of carpenters keep.
Or
wood
how
piled
about
up
some
for
stone
years.
and brick, you know, they bring in 9 pallets of brick to do a landscape outline and leave it there, would be a problem too. So,
And and of course, I'm focusing on this yard part, but, and I don't want to belabor this, but I mean, there are a lot of other professions. And Tom, I understand why you're doing it. Some of the stuff is not covered up. It's carpenters and plumbers, and I get all that.
Well,
But on this yard care thing, we're putting this 15 acre thing in there, and that's the kind of thing that I think that, and all of them are hard working to do this, doesn't matter who they are, but I just think that's a little tight on that end, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. So somebody else
How
wants
often do y'all have to deal with something that's gonna fall under this care?
Under the 15 acres?
Well, under lawn care, I mean.
A lot of, we get quite a few complaints in regards to lawn care.
It's mainly about burning.
It's whether they're bringing them back and burning, or whether they've got the trailers with the mowers, and it's in, a lot of times the complaints come if it's in a subdivision.
Yes,
I get, that's what I'm getting to. If there's residents really close to it, absolutely. I mean, you know, you don't want to smoke up somebody's house, but 15 acres is a big area, 5 acres is a big area, or 2 acres is a big area, there's nobody close to it on the boundary lines, you know, I know the residents. But I'd be in favor, if you said you can't live next door to this, be within a few hundred feet of somebody's house, I'd say I agree with that 100%. But some of them have been doing this a long time, they live on 5 acres maybe, or
I can point to a couple of specific instances that we exhausted a lot of resources going back and forth between a plaintiff neighbor and a lawn care business, and I believe it was over in the west end of the county. But it was on approximately a 5 to 9 acre tract, and they didn't like the lawn care business being there, period. But one of the things they continue to complain about is the amount of equipment they had there, and then the fact they were bringing refuse back to the property and burning it, and the cinders was coming over on their roof. And I think that tract was between 5 and 9 acres, and the tract next door was about 5 to 7 acres that was complaining.
That was a larger track, I remember that one.
Yeah.
And we did go back and forth quite a bit on that.
And it's a closed case now, so I don't mind telling you, it was off Nottaville Road, near the corner of Nottaville Lane.
And this, the primary objection there was burning. That's what the instigator of this was.
Yeah, there was some other extenuating circumstances, some loud parties that were going along with burning and stuff, but that was nothing we.
You can do that on a quarter acre.
Yes.
I usually go a little more to it than burning trash.
Yeah.
Sheriff Ash, with your permission, I'm going to make a recommendation that we defer this for 30 days, and that sometime between now and next meeting, somebody will bring Tom something that is of their liking, and we'll shoot at this again next month.
Mister, I'm not trying to wrench it, Tom, I think you're gonna be you're gonna get a ton of phone calls from people who now find it, this guy next to me can't do this.
And let me be clear for your benefit. I do think that some of the language in here may help us to more effectively enforce these things, rather than people coming out here and claiming they're doing a home occupation versus an out-and-out commercial business. So there are things in here that I am in favor of. After all, we were the ones that crafted it. There are some aspects that I've added in that may still be hard to enforce, like the 600 square foot threshold. But at the end of the day, we had a workshop about this. I had pretty well satisfied myself that there was not enough direction amongst the planning commission and the county commission as powers to be to go more restrictive, less restrictive, whatever, however you wish to look at it, amongst the larger body as a whole of decision makers, and was ready to shelf it. I was asked by several county commissioners to bring it back forward. So that's why I was here, and y'all approved it last month, and it would have been at the county commission had we not noticed that we neglected to put the last page on it.
So we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
The other three on here, I'm pretty comfortable with. Are you?
I am.
So could we just maybe pass those three and only defer the lawn care till we could discuss maybe the acreage part of it?
I don't even know if Tom will want us to do that.
No, I'd rather just take it as a whole. And in fact, the only reason, the part that you didn't see before is what's in red. There are other parts that were new, such as items A through H, that y'all did recommend approval of that at least one other time. It's just, we'd like to have the last page on it. So we're trying to make minor P's and Q's to make sure we get a complete document before you to vote on.
I'm going to make the motion to defer this to the next scheduled meeting. We have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Ash. All those in favor, vote aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion will carry.
Can I ask one question? I can go on and take a shot at changing that from an acreage requirement to a distance requirement from the property line, if that would.
Let's spend 10 minutes after, when we get done here, Don.
Okay.
Try to iron out the things that definitely more to put there.
I think we need something. I'm glad you're bringing it to this, but I won't.
Right.
I don't want to charge you more phone calls over people who do this for a living.
Okay. We do have another gentleman here visiting to be heard today. I have no idea what he's wanting to talk to us about. We can talk about it. If you'll come up and tell us what you're wishing to have us consider and whether or not we'll consider it or not, sir.
Yes, it's address on 2650 McCrary. My name is David Lippert. I'm with Team Wilson Real Estate. This is Jack Camerata. He's the J&K Engines. There's already a property there for it's zone brake assembly. Paul Crockett did our work and whatnot. We put in an application one time and whatnot. We didn't get the final usage chart changed right before they were sending out to the Wilson Post this month, so we didn't get to get it in. We were just barely late on that, but we had the application.
What
in.
is your request specifically?
It's to amend the usage, so it's
Is
not
that
a,
a zoning issue, Tom?
Yes, it's a master plan specific district. It's C3 PUD, isn't it? C3 plan.
Yes, sir.
With the planning and development overlay. And that's a master plan specific district. The current master plan, the property itself started out as a Board of Zoning Appeals approval, and they chose to come in and get it rezoned to commercial with a PUD overlay. The only use they listed at the time was break assemblage and distribution of those parts. This gentleman has got a different type of auto, I think engine assembly or something he wants to do instead, and we've asked him to come in with a master plan amendment if he wishes to apply for that. But he
Would
missed
that
our
be considered a
deadline.
rezoning?
Yes, it's
Because
a master
that's
plan amendment that goes before the county commission.
We even, that rezonings have to be advertised. Can we even, if we wanted to, I don't think we can consider this, can we?
Well, it certainly have to be advertised before it goes to county commission if it's gotta go. As, this wasn't advertised as being heard today. It's probably not wise to
They
do.
missed our deadline. We did give them a little, our deadline is on Tuesday at noon. We did give them until, I think, the following, either Thursday or Friday, and we still had not received the master plan, and we got it Monday.
But we have to amend the agenda just to hear it right now, just so we can make a decision.
You have to amend the agenda, but it's not been advertised as we
It's never been,
traditionally do.
this is a rezoning which has to be
We
advertised. I don't think it would be
typically post signage and
appropriate
notify
for
the
us
property owner.
to consider your case today, just to be honest with you, sir.
we just thought it was worth asking.
That's right.
And I appreciate that, but I believe we're jumping over too many of the rules to, if this was a site plan or something, we might consider it, but a
Sure.
rezoning, I don't think I don't,
It never has been rezoned.
It has been rezoned. It's
Oh, it has been
it's a
rezoned?
C3 with a PUD.
he's trying to, it's
Well, he's
got,
trying to change the uses allowed under that PUD.
and it's
as
specific
such-
to the property.
As such, we post master plan amendment signage and notify joint property owners, just like we do for rezoning.
Sir, I'm sorry, I think this is a little bit more than we can stretch out here today,
Well,
sir.
we'll see you next month, no problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for hearing us.
Yes, sir. Tom, do you have anything else, sir?
Not unless you wish it.
Well,
Well, John Jewell had something. He's not here.
It's not here.
Mr. Jewell has handed out his version of the maps that we dealt with during our work session a month or so ago. It was done hastily that night. We colored for about 20 minutes. Not sure how much progress we made, but he's put some time and effort into this for anybody who wants to look at it. And if he chooses to delve off in it with us next month, we've still got plenty of time to work through this. I think, you know, with Tom.
And just so you're aware, my consultant has asked to have, I'm trying to remember if it's weekly or bi-weekly, kind of status report meetings. We're going to do, and this is in-house. Of course, y'all are welcome if you ever want to come and listen. We're going to be having teleconference or Zoom calls with our consultants on progress and things that kind of hit back and forth between tasks that need to get accomplished for the land use plan, starting next Monday.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
I do want to open the floor to anyone. State law requires us to give people an opportunity who aren't on our agenda to speak to things. At this time, I'll ask anybody with anything they want to talk to us about, if they would come forward. Seeing none,
I'm sorry, here, I'm Josh Spring, Perfumery closes on Friday.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Okay, good.
you got what you needed.
You can go right now.
Okay. As we discussed, how we to potentially amend that, bring it back to the long-term business, we need to do a session when we can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you talking about just, individual can go to Tom and suggest change, but when y'all start debating on it, it's gotta be done.
Well, we're gonna bring it back next month.
Email
There
me,
being-
council's okay? If I send him an email, just, is that all right?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll stand adjourned.
There you go.